one of the and I say yeah aduane a say yare bebre a yemfa ya adwen ko so nti na position bibi kakra e fa watermelon won ne kwan abefa so a ebia wati bia bi mu na wo pese wo de watermelon san wo yare a obetumi ayusu na wo de asan wo yare ade etumi pa de kan ye obi a nanim atwentwom ana se ne ho na matwentwom to bi tie na nanim atwentwom atwipim penis ana se onu ahu se wa yare ma ne ho ato na ba se ne skin ntumi to so ye a watermelon bebu asa nipa no odi watermelon bia everyday bia ebebua no bema ne honam na e twontwom no ana se ne nim Accra100.5FM abetumi I fine watermelon so bo bia wa yekese bebu opesa ne sote ti wutie me na wa yekese pa na wo pese wo reduce weight kakra se na be ya ho be hen ha ho a odi se watermelon bebua bebre ti obi tie yen na se onu no mendura se de be ya ne so beti na se onya resource a for nature watermelon every day be an 1 full glass of watermelon for the next 30 days na check weight share we say also at come and say dey open enya number no offer online taxis ni bia destination in village health clinic village health clinic or do about directly obi o glaucoma when you problem or cataract or problem when you want the open best about clinic e be mo ha ba ma papa abakwakọ no when be kama ma wa obi glaucoma ni point ama na ni cut off let's just say bra why be breed ye reverse why also they are very reverse and to be say many na ye bi or prostate, ulcer, or diabetes, or by more herbs, BP was sort of do. Habama, you bet more BP number from naturally. See, year pa, best have what BP brands BID, but the percentage of BP do for 10, 15, 20 years. Who are Jai, who do pay Jai, essence, who say BP no Bema, some air conformity. What Jai, or would Jai show every cool and most village of Nemo Habama, no BP, I forgot checking no from there.
No from cra. Well, BP say the doc, Mofano, be 20, 30. Yes, you win.
Junk food,
you done
high sodium food. And I send here. Never bronze on our secondary hypertension.
Yeah.
You are no kidney problem, not the hypertension number, when you have hypertension number.
Wow.
Don't hesitate, you just come.
My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork. Spend public funds wisely and judiciously. Reject opulence. And never forget, your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. For example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. By thanking all of you for honoring us with your presence at this first dialogue on illegal mining. We know that the issues of illegal mining are dear to your hearts and to the hearts of every Ghanaian. And that's why we decided that from time to time we'll hold this dialogue. This is not going to be the last. We'll hold this dialogue to update you on the progress that we're making in the fight against illegal mining. Mining in Ghana has been historical. And when the first Portuguese arrived in Elmina, one of the first things we sold to them was gold. And that's why they built a fort in Elmina. Our grandfathers were involved in mining. The problem with the difference between then and now is that they use rudimentary tools to undertake the mining. And so the capacity to create destruction to the environment was very limited. The whole equation changed when the small-scale mining sector started deploying heavy earth-moving equipment. Before, it was only the big-scale mining sector that was involved in using excavators and bulldozers and huge dump trucks. At a point in time, the small-scale mining sector, which is a legal sector of our mining, it was passed in PNDC time to allow, because we realized that the big mining companies were owned by foreign companies, and Ghanaian small-scale companies that had the capacity to mine were prevented from doing so. And so the mining code was revised to add for small-scale miners. And as I said, there's a difference between small-scale mining and artisanal mining. Artisanal mining was what existed before, using pickaxes and shovels and so on and so forth. But when the new licenses for small-scale mining started, and they could afford to bring in excavators and bulldozers and others, it meant that their ability to destroy the environment was expanded. And that is where we currently have our problem. I want to assure you that we are determined to win this fight. And your contributions, your criticisms, your pressure, putting fire under our feet does not have any problem. We don't have any problem with that. You must continue to do your advocacy, to urge us on, to encourage us to win the fight. As I said in the last media encounter, I said that I had no illusions that within 7 months I was going to win the fight against Galamsey. And I said that it wasn't going to be an event, it was going to be a process. Mistakes have been made. In the first effort we made, we go into a forest reserve. We mapped out the forest reserves that had been that had incursions of illegal miners, and we deployed the first wave of our security services. They scored a lot of successes. In a short time, they had cleared some of the major forest reserves that were called no-go areas. Unfortunately, after we cleared the illegal miners from there, the security services withdrew and handed over the forest reserve to the Forestry Commission. And so they put their forest guards there. The forest guards don't have the capacity to defend the reserves against the illegal miners. And so lessons learned were that in the next wave, with the formation of NIMOS, that we must deploy It comes with a cost, because if you send troops and station them permanently to guard the forest reserves, we must feed them, we must provide them with fuel, we must give them vehicles and all the logistics they need to be able to do that. And so that links up with Franklin's question about budget. We need a substantially bigger budget than we have currently to be able to win this war. Happily, budget hearings have started. The budget for next year is going to be presented to Parliament. And my expectation is that the Minister of Finance will give a much bigger allocation to this fight against Galamsey. We also need enough troops. Our troops are stretched. We have so many chieftaincy disputes all over the country, land disputes. And so you go to Sampa, we have troops there. You go to Gonjaland, Savannah, there are troops there. You go to Boko, there are troops there. You go to Nkwanta, our troops are there. And then our troops are also on the border to protect us from terrorism. And so they are spread thin. If we take another batch of them and go and put them in the forest, it means that we are committing most of our troops to other things other than crime prevention and keeping us safe. And so that's why NIMOS is a combination of the police and the army. So all of them contribute troops. And then we also have national security also contributing and all the other agencies. But happily, we have some additional troops coming with the winding down of some of the peacekeeping theaters. And so when they come, as many of them as possible, we'll add them to the force so that we're able to dominate all the anti-Galamsey sites and be able to win the battle. As he said, we have targeted 7 major zones in the regions, and the Army have come up with a proper strategy. NIMOS has come up with a proper strategy for engaging the illegal miners and making sure that we clear them from especially the forest reserves and the water bodies. One of the important successes is the change in the whole issue of excavators. Excavators came in huge quantities, and I remember that at a point under the previous administration, they asked that permits be gotten before excavators are imported. Meanwhile, the law did not say you should get a permit after, but that was what we came to meet, that you bring the excavator, then you go to the Ministry of Transport and ask for a permit. But the law actually says that you must get a permit before you import the excavator. And so now we're enforcing that law. And so you can't bring an excavator in, you can't put it on a ship, and we're telling the shipping agencies, if you bring an excavator for which there's no permit, we shall penalize you, the shipping agency, for carrying that excavator here to Ghana. In the meantime, we came to meet a huge quantity of excavators in the port. And that is what the Lands Minister was explaining to you, that we had to decongest the ports because there was no more space for anything. And so we've moved them to the military space at the Shire Hills and other locations, and we've corralled them there. One of the successes too is the registration of excavators. Even though the law requires excavators to be registered, nobody was registering their excavator. And so if you look at the DVLA records, there was no registration of excavators. And so anybody could bring in an excavator and take it straight into the forest. Today, we are requiring that every excavator must be registered with the owner of the excavator known. And once that is done, like he said, we started putting trackers on the excavators so that we know exactly where they are going to. It's not only illegal miners who use excavators, contractors working on our roads, quarries, and others all use excavators. And so it's impossible to just put a complete ban on excavators, but we must know where that excavator is being used for construction purposes. And so we now can hold the owners of excavators responsible if we find the excavator in a forest reserve or engaged in illegal mining. And so that's one of the advances that we have made. We started a geofencing policy where it makes it possible for us to know where every excavator is, so that if the excavator moves after where it was geofenced, then we can go and find out where did this excavator go and what is it doing where it has gone. And so that would help us. With regards to turbidity of the water, as the scientist said, it's just about, you can see physically with your eyes, you know, what the turbidity of the water is. The thicker brown it is, the more coffee-like it is, the more polluted it is. The less it is, the less polluted it is. And so, like he said, we are scoring a few successes, especially on the Ankobra. I believe the minister chose the Ankobra to start because it flows through his constituency. And so there are some successes, but like he said, we still have the Pra, we have the Densu, we have the Birim, you know, we have the Ofin and all of them. But that means that we must get more manpower. The Blue Water Guards have started work, and a lot of them are deployed on the Ankobra River. So far, we've recruited 1,000 of them. We pay them an allowance of, if you take away deductions and other taxes, of about 1,500 cedis a month. And so if we have 1,000 of them, and we pay about 1,500 a month, it means for a year, you're talking about roughly 18 million cedis. And that's for 1,000 of them. And so if we scale up, then it means that we need more money to employ more of them. But I endorse it because it gives them an alternative source of income. Because as they are fighting the pollution of our water bodies, they are also earning an income as a kind of alternative livelihood. And so that is something that we'll have to scale up. And so the Minister of Finance in doing the budget must make extra provision. We also have to start reclamation, because it's not enough to just stop them and drive them away and leave the land scarred the way it is. And so there are a few companies that have worked with the United Nations, and they have come up with some trees that help to regenerate the soil and can also take out toxins from the soil. If you've heard about the green Sahelian wall that the United Nations was sponsoring, some of the companies involved there have also come and tried those crops in areas that we want to reclaim. And they say that the tests are positive and they can work with us. But of course, we need to use these bulldozers and things we have recovered to level out the land before these vegetative, organisms are put in the land to be able to reclaim the land. So reclamation is one of the areas that we must look to. Happily, we should be able to get some support from a lot of these green funds.
Ghana born into and shut down, but Yabaya Yenchia Commander Boham Kwabena Bobie Ansah baby Obia. And across all the social media platforms, they are Accra100.5FM on Facebook, YouTube, Accra100.5. That's right. Let's go. Midin de nana otu dako Ghana my customer phone in here. I am the voice for the voiceless. I am the gatekeeper of the nation. Watch my PSC in here. Usi no mind this year, Matinan Konya Bunus Maya Crad Maswai, maybe some Ghana. You ever to me and Nimnia Kano Cratch but and then specifically I'll speak to the position of Lord. In Sweden, I don't understand. In fact, Saban Sweden, me, my imagination coming can't be, but come on, I'll speak to it this afternoon. Ibenya nanano mahimfu binso efri ekuapima kropon na yebiso monante se na yedin komo enahwie so ably produced by Ernest Kwame Kwache Okunwia is here. Emmanuel I see you na ene ima the second say na wagin spectacle I mean na ya BJ is here. Na hunu ne sofo a wasi BJ ne ye blood of Jesus. Wo free asore pe yes na BJ ne ye dan no akira ase foforo. Awrade hunu mobo. But of course emphasis that PSC Emma Ghana anyumtufo nyina wofa. Gospel anyumtufo nyina wofa. News editor Accra100.5FM for Sampa. Thank you so much. Emphasis the PSC Emma Village Herbs Clinic, up-to-date estate construction, as you say. And you better the luckiest who I don't say actually Samson and Marcot Surgicals. Sua. Me bacho bronya bay ni ayena yedi be di bronya Ginny Rice. Emu ultra ultimisa enya sonfa so Ginny Rice haneko. Certainly Tontina 74 measure. Na yemfas the PSN so Emma Bills micro credit wamwa ana Emma Besia. Enye susutu bia no ano Ghana card ne akoye nim MTN so se menkamfo ma ho. Mesro koswa na momono yusu enche skaba begu accountum. Just dial *550 hash ne akoye nim. Oi! Ajoy! Sama! Show manyoba! Aha! That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, my enkajagum yeni komone wie. And Nanka said me buy because Nanka me demo call a year Asante Achim North District. Na minimo edin komo kakra ewo ho. Over Facebook ana wa share my. But me share senia no etie because by 3, 3:30 you can see a sorry so now sports team no so take you over. And then him say Ghana versus Central African Republic. Me prediction there 3-1. I mean certainly. I be some 3-1. We say you done deal sir, but I mean we have qualities of players now. I mean me we be to my predict on Facebook live on Accra100.5FM 3-1. And then you be no short. Now your mass sports phone are taking over. Entidan Kamedo call Asante Achim North District. Now it is alleged said there is a DC there, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow. UAD encrophobia. One more year illegal mining. For now, I want to put them under the bracket of allegations. For now, I want to put that under the bracket of allegations. And I've said, whichever DC you are, you could even be a minister, I don't care. Will be anyone more, we will allow you to destroy our river bodies again. It is a President Mahama. I appoint him. Now, Abayin bin also. And you say, Abayin no A2 galamse. In fact, and yes, you say, Wum to galamse. Say, Yensu, the turbidity level was destroyed. Anka say if we want to 500 NTU and we suffering between 5,000 and 12,000 NTU. Your water plant be on by you're shutting it down as a country. Sabi nananamu timenimuntia. Timin kasi nim nyansentia. Mankasa menyenyan minim nyan. Yachimidia. Nananamu hadi timin kasa. Expunged from the records in Buse Manua Kasansem. But the point is that it doesn't make sense. If there's a change of government, Nasa by Fufro Abba, it was saying Ansah would DC in say, and your map by Tadana, you correct it. Ghana idea. It doesn't matter the political coloration at force. But the most important thing is say, what ye this one, ye the jow. Now why ye the jow, ye the aswell. It war penny no it just say oh yes Edgeman and I'll be pulling documents tomorrow. Some document be omode kwa dada na nanamo ahemfo say ya mom to me krata so mbetu galam say look aban way bar power for 9 or 10 months yen sign even one license mo bia so onkonkoye mining me bisa honorable Amakofibua personally, and the minister told me so too men sign even one mining lease MOBS on kokwayem anase on konsuhu and on koya sas biso and konkoya galamse and now on konkoya mining whether legal or illegal. Certainly he will not sign illegal. Eti yentra on the man for phone nane enquire and we'll make sure say and yeme bia enkosu ye and we'll point out because at least we have a president. Why not gonna say Ghana? We need to help him. Because on himself no one term. Iti niaka ne say obeja mudie bi kwan ato ho. Niaka President Mahama ne say obeja anyonyam bi ato ho. Obi bia wo mwa ma Ghana yentuma epago no. Yemfre ne yi no. I'll sit here metra say konya yi so and I'll tell you, I'll point you out. And make sure say me medikia you wedi e wo radio so Ansah na President Mahama Africa Listos executive secretary to the president some for pensi people so and I am telling you nobody should dare me because you come here what the infant say ya galam say ya $2 million and when have a stand there to because you're going to have babies that are born with deformities come on Omwe tu asase so krampo de me said anyhow. Omwe tu nsuom they are my problem. Omwe tu nsuom no. na yetimi ye mra say 100 meters from river utimi ekotuga etimi kotuma en na bio na enyansafo na ya samra no 100 meters na bio na utu gold na anwa no ensan kogu 100 meters meter mako ha no eso ye ahemfu ya behame mintimi nkensemi ahemfu ti wani mo ntimi nkan bebre dabi enya nyansafo na ye samra no enya nyansafo nyansani bia ni ho na dwene ye adwuma whether we president we minister we suffer or a journalist I will back to baby I say 100 meters from a riverside to gold onim nyansa. I'm sorry mi jina bible so enya nananoma kwan so it doesn't make sense timi pass LI 2462 say afa krado timi kwakwayem dabio na kwaye bretuo no fi nananom penso bes no bi kwaye de kwaye da kwaye no meni nananoma hemfo kase di nkomo oh ha yesi obi de krata aba fancy was yamani tumi krata bo wo hen so hu tumi krata wakana no atu enu pede nanam kurenti bi ndwom hu frim. We are all complicit in this ill effort. So I'll do that tomorrow. Now, ma pull the document. Date ni bi wakrampa a prospecting license. Prospecting license I want to be too good. In fact, you take the recognizance license, you come to the prospecting license, and second remember mining lease. The prospecting license sabi kwadad den krase for. Manananu hunu sakrata na dwene say ya mom to me krat. And look, who di fat sign baby nsonka. If it is true that this thing is involved, so I have tried that a lot of times, and I'm a Ghana penny for it is so that is it. The Udia Mammy Fanumon teaser. Naminka we are son of my baby. Eti or mine banner in so like Sabi Tafrache, Sabin penny for them. We am being sarcastic because Sabi, don't so about, but what my Akoko don't so cry. Like, what kind of a country is this? Why? Eti Ghana mpenyimfo nim say your baby won ma ye sit down esin so ye nim. Eti ye nim say baby won ma ya block waterways ye see ye nim. Ena na meti Accra100.5FM ayi prem to breakfast no. Ye see young executive school baby, young boy be 12 years. Walk of any nuanom school. Ana insusan na enam so na asem che say afane ko che say enye minister bi ba sabi enye president bi ba enye pani bi ba enti ensem no ye kan basa ne ye jagum enkosita ban na me mind be suanyansa until when ye nim say drainage systems bi wo hono esusu a da bi o sika no dia Ghana for ye sika mu famie mu do we have to beg fite brami sa na Ghana ensu manyini still ensu yiri wa Ghana. We have president upon president, we have ministers upon ministers, still ensu gusu yiri wa Ghana. Why? The major roads akesia na ensu yiri na faso na ses enkrofo cars. Na politicians ni mo kroma ne say ye be kan brofo ni twi ni Hausa ni egbeni nkre akesia. Then we go sleep because it's a yearly ritual. 1 year later the same problem I told you it just like I don't know. That's not to what kind of a people are you? What kind of a people are you? Very well. Maminyano, oko watching a message man. Watching a message man. Watching a message man. Okay. Ma ye ninkomo yi. Some follow news ye na kwapehema. Na say me producers eyi masutiri me so betimanya story ya. De ensentrefo ensen bi atudwa na mekan kakra. Na as a journalist me did action kire me say abandada no awatwam no. And we are saying this devoid of politics. Efa eshenkrofo bi achi fa kuntuna say esia hene bi Aha, a media house. It's yenchia yasu in yasam. But we are there for everybody. And we are not here to take position. Certainly no. But sana inyina yeti no as at that time because yeti huruya a man hono so a ne ibi other afano so entiasia. Na yinye say one of the festivals krampo anke mo ehie mo ede ayeti me ko kaya mamre na nananom agunsa mo mpa ma yudra. Enke me akọ ese emso himpon bi wu krampo a yen hyeda mpa ne kura bre yinti no. Na che say odwura no kura na hwe kura no a na che say ema so. Na ahima ensem no okuchire bi. Producer mama men kan kakra na fe mi introduce mpanyimfo a etimanim. Na ne amunim no say yenso ye side free akropon san brom. Me fie na minim. Ba minim se ho de free. Eti we no me fie asem. Even beyond my job as a journalist, I should take keen interest in this. Because we be nim dache. Oko, ube kom kura na uhwe mu kura nketi me bome ohin kakra bu baby o. Very well. Press release by Bachomanya dini ya namudi acheme. Okuman impenyin of Akropong in the presence of Queen Mother of Akuapem. Nanefua inketia obu autoso mienu. In relation to selection and nomination of the new Okuapehene to replace the late Osiadeyo Ado Dankwa III, who passed on in July 2015. Dear esteemed members of the press, we have invited you here today to officially inform you that the process of the selection and nomination of an Okuapehene to replace the late Osiadeyo Ado Dankwa III has been initiated as per instruction of the Judicial Committee of the National House of Chiefs, ruling dated 29th September 2022, affirming the judgment of the Eastern Region House of Chiefs, dated 30th April 2020. The following has taken place. A consultative process involving 1. Sechibia Adeshifi Aberewetia, a meam penyinfo ne abusuya penyin, that's female elders of Sechibia Royal House, plus their male head of family. 2. Asuna Hene of Akuapem. 3. Okuapehema Nana Efua Inketia Obu Autosuminu, the certain Queen Mother. This has led to the selection and nomination of a candidate for the position of Okuapehene, making him the 26th Okuapehene. This candidate selected to replace the late Osiadeyo Ado Dankwa III goes by the name Odeshi Kwesi Ekufu. Interesting. In coming to this place, we have been privileged to have received further clarification from 1. Supreme Court of Ghana, judgment of February 20th, 2024. 2. That upheld a ruling of the High Court of Koforidua, dated 17th March 2021. As per our Akan custom and matrilineal Abusian system, our women folk play a key role in decision making. On behalf of the Okuapehema, a selected number of us, senior traditional leaders within Akropong, including myself, Nana Achamehene, who hold certain key customary functions, will now take the process of the installation of the new Okuapehene forward to its logical conclusion. Kindly note that in our customary role, we do not perform the same traditional rites for the same person twice, and many of our traditional processes are not public facing. Okay, we look forward to completing our work in the shortest possible time in a climate of peace and security. Kindly direct your questions to me and I shall select suitable leader. So that is it. And this is Okuman Impenyin. Okuman Impenyin for. So 2 things. 1. Me introduce Impenyin for, but Nyashishe Masoka Krane say Edin Odeshe Kwesi Ekufu. Eye miura ono so say imprint oyo ohene ewe Akropong. And I'm speaking as a journalist based on the information I have, but you can clarify for me. And here, number 1. Enti minim the other nominee and the fact say also will bear the same name, and I mean dichotomy between these two people. Anything penny for idea, Meteo. Nti penny for your team anyway. Say Womujira so nyina eye nia emra eka. Nti me wo court order dated 20th 2nd 2024 in the Superior Court of Judicature, the Supreme Court Civil Division, sitting in Accra on Tuesday 20th day of February, blah blah blah. Okay, so that is here. Amadou, okay, he Kolundi Aka Yinsu, they presided the Republic versus the High Court Koforidua ex parte, blah blah blah. And pennyfo idea on bet mu amayen na yedi enkomara nana kwaw kutruku a otoso nu eye franka hene you fat me franka hene yo yes I and that is a mirror prekope enso benim baabi ametia franka hene na sabrum hene akuapem traditional area mirror ewa Nana Adi Akufu a concerned member. Anna Fay Mira Kwesi Ajay and so your concerned youth. Wonyina free equiapem. Ahobrase kwanso and penyifo mema mwakwaba. Ohene de obeka se achiri. Penyifo se penyin dwade wia ne nsuasa. Nti mesha se ne mu wadi nkomo. Na sempo ehu hia ohene betimi etu yefo kwan mu. Enye saade anki di nkomo no a obone tofa na yetu apo krakra. But when they kan yakasa
concern name say mekasa
me patch you nti wohwa a press statement na ma release no a na kire say assembly end ye afi utie enkomo no a there's a new nominee me who asabi mpanyifo anim ye wo hena ono so friend who say me use sa words no because I don't want to meddle myself in that affairs. Ono so friend who say ono ye ohene ubetimi akirikire mu ehifa na ade free ba na yenti ne masane yakoye
me da say opanyini me da say ene michia watiefo nyina sabri wotie ni titiro ni akroponfo ana akuapemfo a wotie Accra FM nia etene say bra na na da nkwa wu se ne awbo wa ma na edi kan say 2015 ana ofim eye ekropon amane oho ne se wo abusua biesa wo nkati abusua siatia bi abusua ena amoja abusua won wotumi froforo agwa meye wotumi di oku apen ma yan hihye mu no yaye eli nti efifi mu a na ekosa fim efisa fim a na ekosa fim eno nti ekodu siatia bi afi wo won na tise na wo produce candidate de ma ohemea no no ohemea ne pronounce din no senia amara ne amane kire wo akamam nti ohemea fi dwumadi na ase ne nyina aye mranti a ye concern members aye wo kurodua no mu a ye ngani tuai wo fi ase eye tobe nkakra no mu a ahensi bia no atinye ba ho nti ne yenum say a good cause na ogusu eho na ohemea no bepawe anase mia penfo na ewo setia bia busua no mu wo bepawe benum ko afase wo pe kwase akufu ana kwase meka kwase akufu na kwase akufu candidate ba ko a ohemea na ya amane wafa process ya audition kwase akufu
ona ne din wakrata yimu
you
okay
ono ni already oye ne to ade kwase akufu no say oye great na kwase akufu ya great grandson na watcham ko e ko se fra watch ne grandson okay inti odono to ne na direct inti ono ni din ni kwasi akufu no by near okremu imposter na wo na okremu no mo say
imposter
yes
the
second guy na owoso ya na osusu no
ono na akufado ko si no
okosi no
na akufado wonim se nyo no ye ohene no ko si no
tese anka ye keka bai wo behu baby ko ya ye ba be pem ansa na kufado na gasa abem
very well
ebusu ya hia wo apa wo nipa ni wo pa wo nipa ni wie no nipa wo ya amane mo bi be yoku apen na jasefo ne ankobia fo ne okoma mpanyin nyinara was present wo ye fa na ewu That way you could former first lady when you know what it is. Iti woye bribia to toye ma odi ne hene aka say no sua chiro crap man eho ana lily ma me bia owo fi ni mu a ono so sa abre no ya abre watia oyo de chi wo fi o oye abre watia lily tama sam no call original house of chiefs wo call original house of chiefs na original house of chiefs say won say wo ba ni nyina ka bo wo say won say wo mra no wo maye ne foforo anyo him ya ne so de no de call national house of chiefs ana national say wo mra no maye ne foforo eho sabre ne wo covid mu aye 2019 a wo abound niura first May 2020 yeah aye wo covid serious na asorukra wo me yankobi Muslim fo enye bribia traditionally afashe bribia was banned by Akufo-Addo nya courage per soldier fo police fo armor cars no wori be sisi eye ekropon be say wonso say we na ne atene say ne how yen e concern members nkura say wo pese wo say yen tradition yen obibiara wo Ansah na wo be fro oforo agua no wobaya amane a obesua untumi nsua wo dem untumi sha patakari ti say na me sha patakari a meti ai dabi akanfra mamrem sabi aduasa
we friend to
ntomatuntum wasabaw na anu ya me hwe otumfo de 1999 wasabaw ne ntama ogina wa okura afon yen ye wo pomponsu enene afon ya wusom na utumi de sua eyi nyinara wanya bi na so Akufo-Addo yire na ho sabra me kasa no na bara champon na ne nkurafo nso sata no security capo
national security minister
no,
the president at the presidency
no, the
minister at the presidency
yes
no
a minister security in charge of no obe ready ahimfo obe bubu ahimfo obe say
o say nyono
on if you no we won ben
no buy
video
you saw him in the act
yes
yes
what feel on sabre na the late
I'm saying say muhunu honorable Brian Champo in
but what can on lead one buy
because issue we buy ma ono be can say onim ho hwe
to me can say on enya no kware
okay na say nipa no asora hini wo ha ene wo ne nko respect ni bibisa ono ne ka sai
okay
enti sabre no na the late George Dako oyo hene ba no ye tufo hene of ayo command tufo hene
ojumtuni
George Dako wanya ne baby ko metu me de me esime bo so say
okay
eno so nenam na George enya hoodin biu no ko ne krechi no kwara asem na American esa ne say wo ba no wasase sa wongu pick up mo wo hwe opanyina wa bo ne bra say me no kasa no woni fi na esa say adesesem no yo hene benti na dwumadi so to so otena hemfi no bo ho ban eno ntina na otewo no buy no ready ne nro onom nyina was kept at the room na security for aman kwan aman ko say nro be point
no mo make ne say sabi ne di kan na Akufo-Addo no oni ho right so yes sir number 2 omasi ohina enyono na kunya ne fatal is that the point
what on necessary ya no ka say in the press conference na say am concern for ko tie bi
okay
fina o claim say sa na obo no asafo hene say ono no yo kwapen fina o film no na aberwati a wo fie o abe declare bo fra no Georgina Yaboa Ekufu wo be declare ne actually we are seeing nyina say kodwo kasen ya abanoma o kan awunkro o pressman wa around o bisa wa obenya we am enya na meka wo video abusuamu ni nyina ne aba wo ya ama ne wo abusuanim atwa ogwan
okay eti eno ye ni waka na emu masem ne se eye no kure se oyabanoma na because it's a word against Unikono's word and we need to play on factual accuracy eye no kure se ni abrewa kan no that is the real position
chief no kwara asem ne say
okay
so popotiti finzu ase be ka chi so den tema ewu ya
panyifo se enye na chi
panyinso wonye na chi ni won wonim wo ma eni na akanfo o se me dan se me ma me awon
no yemi
na o yemi nia it wo won a wo hu won won se won wonim sa asem ekopre obra wadi regional house of chiefs wodi asem no ekopie wo esa ne say sabre na Lily afa Nkrabea efadate say ne lawyer
okay
nti Nkrabea cross examination no bi sa Kwesi Akufo de she Kwesi Akufo ne say eye the rare Kwesi Akufo no say Lily teko ye ne dan na no so ye ne aunt no so obabarima ye ne dan no so obabarima dia oye me wofa na momoni babarima e wona Nkrabea bisa Lily say enti obeso akase kwadokase enye Lily ba na ana Lily ni say teko na gasa no to no mra no omeyi ano wodu ono yeso osu eho na judges no eye panels na eye nananom na wodi asem wa dani case no
okay
enti ade a na aba a wonim say ofifie until say obi betwa gwan na sebseri wa fra sora fra fam aka je so won ka won nya wo moja ana ahensam so de wodi ni moja sam eye lie and a constitution no kura ka ho asam say Ansah no obi bedi ohene it is all your blood liar of your any lie yes your maternal lie
ntakam for the
yes ana o ma me no so enye ne banka sa na it we then what about
it no I'm sure say as you it must be established that is from journalistic point of view, you know, until that is established, you know, it makes it difficult to move forward. Say no kure say free fee. So when that is established, then it make your case even easier. But now that is not established, whether with the DNA,
why are they?
Okay.
Edi twamuko be bosumini.
Okay.
Ah, wakachire osi sebi which way? One say kropon a ufi wa ufi sa abrum. Wo ma ho de ba wo mama aka akire.
Yes.
Yes. O papa aka akire o say mu fi sa abrum. Mo ye kropon fo ono no wan fo wa ma nya won so. Se won.
Nya kra ma ba hoda na me me fie.
Enti wona wa aka akire o say wo mu fifi o won ka won wo afre so eba media social media then ono so aka fa.
Say oba prove.
Yes, as oba prove che wi asenya. And fini wo finance wo fi mo ne ma di dance say baby obi a finish asamba won kwoboro won or the talks.
Okay. My memory me round kwesi AJ na me ono so fa kakra encounter. Why I'm even taking keen interest is that there's over maybe to say Sampa, maybe to say Boko, there are other areas as a Puye, sorry. But maybe take keen interest because asumdie no aba boy kese pa. Na because me growing up, one of the maybe asumdie wo kese pa ekwape man. And you know, empese ebe escalate na nyina ebe nyanti ase na asumdie mu no. Ibe edien pa na besi emira asumdie betimi aba akropon ahensi ensemo.
Ewo bedawase da mechia na nefu ankati obu okwape hia ene ne nkoma mpahini nyina na mehu ni se na odi kankan ekwapenfu ye nipa bi a won pe gidigidi won pe basabasa woye won bibia amane kwanso na mra kwanso ahensemu yi starte 2017 bisine niam bebre asisi batade a na nefu ankati obu da bi o kan ne se obia ni obia nkoko gidigidi bia ma no meke so no ne nkrofo na akoyesa yeti ekropon kromo no kofa langard fo bai se won bebro ohemia achidifo ekropon ha na ewo na bamuhine ne boys bowura okuapahen bi afi ama okuapahen bi ane na ba ko wo ho wo bone na mutuo ma ne won atwa ne nan nsem bebre asisi me bra pahene ka owa ahemfi ohene nana owa ahemfi national security fo ko bron ma wa fa mawu nti ene yete ane yakasa yese bia yete ya se yempa asumdwei ne ma koso ma ode ko Ghana police service police fo bahwe ohembia wo hye ne ka wo hye ne dan na no bo bia tie mu na se ya wo se ne ka wa ahemfi nanim ho ni nyina akọ police station enkosi hwe obi ashutu obi won atwa ne nan. Now
there's a new regime, so maybe you back with baby.
So what you concern you for how you say
all these things you are saying, you know, were happening in the past administration. But under this new president, I think
it concern you for no. Ona me kropon a awo ho abem langard for nam ho bi.
Okay.
day in day out Langard for nam ho then no way Langard wa himfi wo me no ka say
Akuapem
Okuapem hina himfi Langards wo ho
Langards
na ka chawo
omo ye no
one ko for wonsi wombra no wombe buru yen na yen so ye mpento kwa mpe basabasa enti wo hu na ya wo ba be buru yen
mu wetwo dwura
Okuapem bia sa afi odwura no bia ye na amane woni fi
Okuapem ma so ntwa
Debbie
na mensu menyante ye the producers tia me now so say eye me can my careful because of afanunti but me wura wo house see a o se wo ye ohene no because me pese Mrs. Sudia because of the position you also coming from nti misra mo afa mo so am the other side no you forgive me but that is how I can address him for now respectfully say krata bi akọ yabombura ho say anko we invite no for ojrama mo so matro krata bi say asumdwe ni honom nti ma but emu ensem to say because then if Okuapem ma say ontwa dwura I'm so hini be twa wana
they say amane kwanso say hini pon eyo ma hini wua say wo yo oma hini na bedi na ade a wo ye yikese wi ansa na wetu matwa dwura
yes
sa de nko so ya usire na utwa dwura
yikese ne nko so
enko so ye osade adoda nko wu 2015 10 years muni it is a wo Okuapem hina won asiwa se wo bae se wo be na yikese
se wo be eno de yifiri okran
ansa na watuma betwa odwura na watena paka mu na wonya saade we ya na yodwura na
rehomu nji ani
yes it na yodwura na utwa kantata na ba be na unse empanfo a wo jamani di wo Ghana ha no ontumi fa ne sa ne ma no nko na nse ya Asante Hemia ka ba bi a wo ye yi eho ukọ na akọ ye ho se wo ye ohena National so choose one na wo wonimu a wo ya ahemfo no wo ya
yes
no went to bank obi cause ho kwa wo nye untum nti ye ni Okuapem hini nti e na odwira na ye ye
nti onka National House of Chiefs
there be
Eastern Regional House of Chiefs so
ọkọ fake
eho no say no onka obi na no okoshia wo Oforupa hini fi any the new Eastern Regional Minister okoshia wo ho say Eastern Regional House of Chiefs for but Eastern Regional House of Chiefs meeting dey ewo baby away any meeting okofodia
menim se ochehene ene Okuapem so ochehene wo faase ne Okuapem
Oforukuba
ti menim se wo mo sa bond no pa ede na ono so come from that say ana no munduedue mu hunu se ne me bisa se bia okọ Eastern Regional
eno no kware ye baako esan se na Akufu ado no mo support eye kwadukese na wo pese wodi ni de hine nti e ma ono so sala ne wo photo sa line say
okay
won hwe na nka bo ani ni ade da wo ye nka bom ne nti asem wo kan na woni adanse ya wo fa asem bi ya dance ne nti e kase o chenye kan obi ni say da wo ye nka bom we kropon o ba bi
send in kabum
nka bom ne nka bom no ina no obi akọ obi ne obi ankon ye obi ne obi anya hwe
me pa chewo wo betuma ye nka bom wo Okuapem ma Okuapem Hemia nka ho bi
o da bi
Itina waye na nka bom papa
yetu nsa friend na wama ana say yamfre Okuapem Hema
sa nka mpahina ba ochehene ba bi na so obekasa obetuma kọ say Okuapem Hemia bra na me ne me ba yenhia na yenka asem e wo ho sa de na ntuma nko
na me che say hwehwe aso kakra say ochehene beba na yensoma asem koma Okuapem Hema say sa na ko e dia
no kwa dia ba ko be o
okay
ochehene oni Akufu ado na ebom na wosi sa aboy
Mira mpacho kasa gu Mike
oni ochehene wo bom wosi obi a wa ko fa ni fi America onye okropo no Okuapem oni part of one celebrate France obi can say yes but Japadia yes no a scheme in connection with Japadia was there now better way to extend call it locus of control so there also why you can say
na say Akropon for ne achim for the same people.
We are not the same people for us. So sorry. Now Okuapem is very different from
no, not Okuapem, Akropon.
Akropon is not part of Achem.
No, it's not part. But
historically,
Achem for now.
Mamika seem to so office and bro. Akropon, apart from Achem for now,
okay.
You work Pamufu.
Okay.
akwamfo bebree sign brom me kan kira o yan historical if you akwam fronti wo ya akwamfo what they say okay this is anyo ekropo per se nyina na eye
okay very well mira yemfa no entwere na me pay kakra ho enti me pacho wo de wanu sia na ka me mra me wura so na on finalize na ye hunu the way forward na
enti sesia no kuapeman ye wo hoyi emu nyo because of Langard sem eye Langard wo behwa asase so we dey ahensam ti enti yesre ya bonwura se oyo pehene ofa na anuntum na anka okuapeman asemi wonhwe no nkama yen na asomdwe ye den embra na debia asomdwe beban obetuma ba abesere okuapeman because 2014 otumfo say tutu the second oba okuapeman mu na enye odwira but otumi bai ma wo bogwa ma oni okuapehene a sabre no wo so side adedankwa bedi nkomo owie okọ konfa no chikrom eye fefefe nti ebesere ya bonwura ene ahemfo mpanyimfo e wo Ghana se won fo wa anu to asemu ihu na se na woka no akanwa mu no de ohemia na esi hene na so ohemia esi wo hene ya ye nye wuntum se wo ye ohene
eno de enye mebu ho krampa ye nyi ho achi hema na esi hene I mean here we are books ana be kire san na no aye no nti no se nye hema na esi ye de nyam na meka o be no be
asa na de onye na anga sa ato na no mutu wo kan o se wa kan press
ana me che o hema ana esi hene nti intimi nchi amamre afi ma memra mi wura so na kwa koturuku otosunu Franka hene Equiapem traditional area sounds here sign broom na ti se mi wura prekope ti me pacho papa pasase bi ma me na se si a me nim kura efia me frim na o de me mbo me sesen kakra na ba papa we de me mani ma hobi okon awia obeba na oba besra me na osam ko ni fi baba ni esi nyina se o hwe senia ye nana adi akufu echirechire mu senia kwesi agye enso de bi eka ho a na kire se womu wo onyina so from their point of view why ohini wodi ediwa ben ana ehwe wodi ano ben ana eka sense mu se ne be ya the right person whether your teso ana na ahima aka no ho asemi will be installed na asumdwie at the end asumdwie emra okuapemem
okay nie di kan be de mi chia Ghana fu nyina na manfu nyina se mama yen sa mo amatu fuso kwani akasa achiroma na me pese me ye one correction ye obi ante so okuape mi ampa obi ye
nti ohene ni ho
nti ohene man imposter se bi tafa je ku fado na ode obi abese gen strong by force anu na yesi ye mpene se bi odo ye no onim se otumi nkoye sa wo chebi
okay
na otumi se nkoye bibi sa wa santimam otumi nkoye bibi sa wo north ba ofan se akuapefo se bi Jamaica dum oba be ye
ahobrase no doso
ahobrase no doso nti no oba ye no ba ye pese ye ka sisu se bi tafa che ekropon wo nyo sa wo na emumu no yankwima da no na wa bia wusu munya no bobi nkopra muja se mu den ne ade and they've taken advantage of that and na wa ye no what the say you tafa me come me say me banira nkrofo frame me fi America aye ekropon fu yinkrom fu frame me America
okay
boya wodne o se wodna be yoku apin
okay
o criminal records me wa America me na me ka kire o me say o mede chim bia niema wa ye fraud wa perpetuate wa America
and so for now evidence ni honti no ono so ni henti wo hene
ye honti me wo records ni bo anawo kwa what send me na ne me ya wo mu say sa ne me wo yi as tu nyina from the beginning e proponfo wo America yi as tu be brave from the beginning and na wo fufado mu yi wa adwene say be good or bad we are going to force that boy or not.
Oh, anyway, the fact be on camera because we cannot produce the evidence until they a frame.
I'm a lawyer
because Okasi be a
lawyer. Ntina me kantina mind you, as a legal practitioner, I also don't have
very well.
What they say. In America,
it's right, Papa. When you're in position,
you are your position.
Any station position.
Maybe position. Something that I know.
Very well.
Because in real for our friend, they what trying to what they are planning to with them gotten documents.
Okay.
And the baby a boy okay. How can you bring such a person to come impose on us as Ukraine? I'm saying it because winning Article 2, the supreme law of this country is the 1992 Constitution, and Article 275 states clearly.
Oh, and don't put any article. Ghana, I can't remember him put it. I can't remember him put it, Papa.
We are what's
the sanity, dear. I can't remember him crying to me.
Say beautiful. One mark and what is our danger?
Papa, such a thing.
Tattoo, our friend there.
Oh, tattoo.
Oba Kruma, what the question first I won't know one market home. Nipper will for be a woman. Bassa. So what for bisa, so wouldn't never say young Kong. No, him, I don't want to wire, I never mean every actually what the record to walk on Mrs. or the Costa or for Pepani.
No, Henry, I shall see no, not or hima tiasie, and a drew baby, or see there be, and now him and tiasie fit your chassis. Esan say, when you say hima, say Busia, and nominate two beer, or him and the G2. Sana ya be see adiano. Hey, ntia de na face amre santene no.
Ma memory ohine kakra wa.
Okay.
Ni yetene say boy no ohime akura anim ne direct say wote yi na meti yi.
Ohime anim no.
O nsia ne da obehia na wo hia wo court.
Dabi na wo ye den se hene abro ohima no se hene ni.
Boy ya friends Kwadwo Kasi. Opa ma wo producer and friend what telephone so say. When was the last time we shared the Kwabena of the traditional area? A traditional area.
Wow.
Oh, him yani nimuno. Ana wo you oh him yani crowd bo within no. Wo nya ohene ye. Ma me kira de kakra wa.
Me ba che yo.
Okwa mamun Ansah no bi be yo.
5 minutes.
Yo. Okwa mamun Ansah no bi be di ohene. No ba yo okwa penhene. Wo processor of them of 19 process. 19 process and of them. Sa process so him yani crowd bo within awie no. O go through sa processing. Anu obi anya bi man ye.
Okay.
Nipa bi na akwa form gang. Na form we in touch of Ekufuado. Ano no
what is ade no nyane say former president na Ekufuado.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Monesh. Okay.
You. Pepe say me chere bibi kakra. And say Eastern Regional Sub Chiefs Judicial Committee ruling over the buy no. Now what case one start to be away be afofro
omunye dia foforo
ahinsi no na okuapehembia bo ni din a wode ne ye na no Bobie atiemu wode hyekwasi akufu wode na fa 18 processes mu aka ba kope na wayo okuapehembia.
So hold on nti ya shase di komo bebre ba me santi be foforo. So the point you making is say and I'm making is say na miwura odishi akufu no kwasi akufu no na ahima owo ho sisi ano I did not for all the 18 process Amanaka one.
Which is so obe
now ya confirm no so he now saw afunemu asai actually crap man no you here preko enti I don't see Ansah yes am be fa obufufuro
Ansah I don't see in was one akoko
okay
enti wo call court no
and yes almost am me no fufuro
emi ampanyimfo be so nkohia I nim see wo pe ode hyekwasi akufu ene wo bo ni din wo de ne ma wo de ne ma ohembia na ohembia de ne kwa wo de ne si ohene ma wo ye processes ni na ka one na wo wie court no wo judicial committee we Eastern Regional Chiefs now we won start bibia
okay
na the chain which is 1st May 2020
okay
ena nipa bi koshia obabi say won asi Kwadwo Kasi ohene wo wie na ohembia so sit there bi enye sa na court ne kan to call Kofobia High Court ma Justice Doris Dabanka
okay
ma ruling say okwara wo fa aso say won asi Kwadwo Kasi na enye sa na judicial committee ni kan he cited Kwadwo Kasi and Abrewetian for contempt no finding 5,000 cedis each
okay
but with TI mo be ex-convict
okay
a punitive charge say one for one to custodian no one fine no ex-convict wo wie no na court share ni say onye no ho so ohene
okay
I'm a year letter near the call Equipment Traditional Council. Eastern Regionals of Tuesday, Nationals of Tuesday. One share no one gazette man because contempt one also say on yen who saw him. Went ye and any paper because I say or no the honor will be jenna to say your henny. Name ruling our ma Kofodia High Court to know. Also on Tiase what the call appeals court free case in the back and what the call Supreme Court no no 5 judges panel no 5-0 anonymous decision say ruling na Kofodia High Court Justice Doris Tabanka mine any kwemaning one could hear himself na mum or enforce na ruling na if judicial committee by no one Tiase because you can say one was some review of Supreme Court review no na one lawyer obabema final verdict no okwa withdraw no application
okay
and you see it is a see na wako Supreme Court area ebuatia won obey dem biem untumi your hene
enti sana asamnati
sana asamni nyinate
Supreme Court akasa
5-0 anonymous decision more call review
say if that is the case say we any case
enti dai wo hene na ye ni oku apehene
me de me ni mu nsemunum but based on deduction as a journalist if indeed assuming without admitting because me hunu krata but if indeed that is the position say Supreme Court akasa
High Court ruling in the world
where High Court when is Supreme Court
no High Court no citing contempt
yes but I'm talking about the biggest court of the land
yes.
So Supreme Court kasa asa there's no case again so if indeed I'm choosing my words carefully that is the position of the Supreme Court then it's quashed
by the past governments by the past government's machinations and funny tricks behind who play.
Okay.
They were bribing make my own hide it your hobby and what they your friend there who smile from the Bobie 62 sheep in about 6 or so tracks and 62 cartons of tracks. So what the broker are paying him here now also na or approve for advocacy.
President former President Akufo-Addo.
It was actually I was in the
na buama de edaso
I just got that so and
na satibe there too
and
and the buy say ankomo de be convince on him
on state on no be the brother champion and
wow Mate
don't watch them
enti papa you give us the final word enti the crack say what is the position
we are now ohimia bahane you call press house
tonight my way
okay
okay
on the position is
okay
because there's a change of government and they know the magnanimity with which the current president acts we are appealing to him and then police couples in a what council 1 year sure say some sanity is restored.
Have you petitioned the president with the Supreme Court verdict?
You were going to do that.
Yes, because if the Supreme Court am a verdictor, you just have to petition the president.
We are going to do that.
And you petition the National House of Chiefs.
Now what on him here is saying is as we are speaking now, the talks and the people that I'm gas there. I'm gas I don't know. They are still occupied over Kuma Palace.
Okay.
Until on him says she wants them out because some beautiful fight young I think on him they don't know.
Him the mansu ni so. So on him ya. Mansu be ni so.
No mansu.
Very well.
She wants them out so that she will revisit the process and conclude it.
Ipacho yo. Yes, yeah, that's to say, Maba Monsomo de side of the story. Abba, I may hunu. Obi can say, Juma, the Sena Mekano, when you more in Chiasu, in Yasem. Dear Tia for not your mate for Ankasa Ebua. But me Janaka say, if the position is a Supreme Court, Akasa, they are Ghana for one judge, Yamna Mekan Bibi. Because we have only one highest court of the land, and that's the Supreme Court at Ubia, the Buma. And to be clear, and simple case. Because president will know him say Ghana hana yeshe we sampa we boko we bole menye sure so better na so person for some chat here no cases bi wa monye ne simple ma president just petition the president, petition the National House of Chiefs, give media copy and baby anokure da no menim say nananom mema nokure no ada senya minister nana kwaw kuturuku a otoso enimu franka hene akuapem traditional area Sandbroom hene yede na se bro na em say me di ahemfo chi na because say me free akuro pompa Sandbroom na menim baby dabi choi nana adi akufu consent member me pacho ni otro ye no ne handwriting ye fenti me hu we
town consent member of
the papa he say no was the town say the town hey producer ko we be kumera and akwesi aji consent youth of Akuapem enti na say me boy e man fa town na nka because when the doctor for be handwriting everything. So that is it. Yeah, the penny for say omobaye, but Ghana Black Stars say my catch him say 3-1. Oh say you best start 4 but you take over.